Shalom. As we say always in the beginning, all praises and honor and glory and blessings and power be unto Abanawa Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, as Father Yahweh, in the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai. All right. Yahweh means he exists. Okay. All right. And Yahweh Shai is our mediator, our deliverer. Okay. And hence the reason why we say Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Okay. And hence why Yahweh Shai was the sacrificial lamb to redeem the elect that are scattered to the four corners of the earth. The elect are going through hell. They've had, somewhat a tumultuous life. Okay. They've had a few little bright spring days in their life, but for the most part of it, it hasn't been what you call a hunky-dory or a rosy world. And right now, the elect are being prepared spiritually, physically, and mentally to endure what's to come on this earth, because judgment is happening. Okay. I have seen, a lot of famous YouTubers that were up in age, right, that have just recently died of natural causes, of course, and they're Israelites, which is good. Some men in their 70s or 80s, they died of natural causes. They lived a full life, that were kind of entertainers. I'm not going to name any names. Those of you that know. All right. As well as Israelite foreigners around the world. I'm an Israelite foreigner, so I can pick who's who in terms of an Israelite foreigner from the particular part of the world where my family's from. Right. And they're dying of natural age. Some of them are 100 plus. And the Lord is having mercy on them and bringing them back home. All right. Before they're born in the kingdom through the loins of the elect men. So the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahshai, is working. All right. And at the same time, okay, obviously the Lord does not love everybody. The Lord has his chosen. The Lord doesn't even like the 2/3 right now. At this moment in time, the Lord does not love the 2/3. The 2/3, right, are the two parts of Israel that shall be cut off and die. All right? All right, pursuant to the book of Zechariah 13. All right? The two parts are going to be cut off. And they're going to die in a multitude of ways, right? And one of the ways the Lord is doing it is all these floods and storms and things of that nature. Now, you could talk about the harp machine. Cool. I get it. We know Esau has technology, that is so extreme. We've seen glimpses of it in movies, right? But they're only going to show you a little snippet of what they have. They might chuck on a little basic robot, which children find kind of cute. Oh, there's a robot in the street. Look, mom, there's a robot in the street running around. The robot might be 3.5 feet tall, looking not so menacing, but even that basic robot, or whatever you call it, cyborg, can do some damage if it's prompted or controlled to do so, or commanded to do so. But they've got some major shit, and they've been showing you, right, from my memory, because I'm in my late 40s, so I can remember RoboCop. Okay, the first one, which is quite gruesome, right? I can remember Terminator, the first one when it came out in 1984. I remember going with my father to the store to get a VHS, what you call a videotape back in the day, right? I mean, it was rated 18. I was like 8 years old, but back then they didn't really give a shit. People just gave you the movies and you watched it. You know what I mean? So I remember these movies, and they say it to you as well. They're not movies; they're basically documentaries, right? I know I'm all over the place, but basically what I'm trying to say, the Lord is working. Okay, the Lord is bringing home, having mercy on some of our people that are up in age, taking them off the earth, because huge judgment is coming. World War III, the Charagma, the CHIP, the financial crash, starvation, grape, avoiding gangs, marauders. When that time comes, it's going to be like Mad Max, Book of Eli, any other, the road, it all combined on steroids, though. Worse than 70 AD. All right, Jacob's Trouble. Is it Jeremiah 30, verse 8, right? Jeremiah 30, verse 8. No, that's not the one. Jacob's trouble, King James Version. Oh, Jeremiah 30, verse 7, yeah. Jeremiah 30, verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's the he? It's going to be the elect that are going to be saved out of it. All right, because 1/3 is going to make it through the fire. All right, they're going to make it through the straight gate. Okay, now let's go to the judgment part. Psalms 119, verse 126. It is time for thee, Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, to work, for they have made void thy law. Right? We know that heathen, they don't have a righteous bone in their body. All right, and the ones that do have somewhat of a righteous bone, and they have a connection to the Most High. They pray to the Most High. They believe in a higher power. That's Romans 10 verse 2. They're just Israelite foreigners that don't have the truth yet. They have a connection to the Most High, but not according to knowledge. Paraphrasing Romans 10 verse 2. All right, so the Lord is working, man, and the Lord does not love everybody. Look how a list of ways just through storms. Right, I just did an AI overview of the numerous places in America just alone. All right, and I've got a list here of worldwide places since June 2025. You got Honduras, flood, disaster. All right, status is red, which means I believe, it's quite serious. Red usually does mean seriousness, right? Honduras, Venezuela, Jake strongholds, Bangladesh, Elam and other nations, Nigeria, Jake and other nations, Algeria, Ishmael, Elam, Esau, and Ham, and probably Jake. Yeah, Jake down there as well. Kenya, East Africa, right? Judgment there as well. That's an amber alert. Haiti, amber alert. Somalia, amber alert. The Congo, all right, red alert. If you look at it, most of the red alerts are in the Jake strongholds as well as heathen ones, of course. But Congo, Tanzania, right? Which is in East Africa, Bolivia, Latin America, Iraq, Ishmael, Argentina, Jake, Botswana. Everyone's in every part of the land, but I'm just mentioning the people that are there as a bulk. Peru, Ecuador, Libya, Malaysia. Okay, that was 2024. Forget about that. Let's just go to 2025. Let's go to recent ones, which is March. Let's go March onwards. All these places, right? And there's more, of course. And I'm seeing video footage. I mean, don't forget China. I even made a video about it the other day. China is, Beijing is done. 10,000 people displaced. Moab is getting it. Because remember, they're part of Psalms 83, right? Then they come against Jake to try to cut us off from being a nation. They collectively are, they're collective, they've got a mutual hatred towards the Israelites. So they've come together, man, to cut us off from being a nation. That's in Psalms 83, King James Version. And there's a list of I'm sure there's bits and bobs missed out in this list here. In June and July of 2025, several areas in the U.S. experienced flooding and storms, specifically the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast regions, including New Jersey and New York. Lord willing, the brothers are okay, which I believe they are. Yahweh Hashem is protecting our elders on down, right? Mid-Atlantic and Northeast regions, including New Jersey and New York, faced severe flash flooding. All right. And Salakia, I don't know whether I'm getting up in age, sometimes I forget. So double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of our body. All right. And shalom to the 144,000 and 1/3. May peace and blessings be upon your households. Okay. In June and July of 2025, several areas in the U.S. experienced flooding and storms, specifically the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast regions, including New Jersey and New York, faced severe flash flooding. Additionally, North Carolina and South Carolina were impacted by Tropical Storm Chantel, which brought heavy rainfall and flooding. Further, South Florida and the Gulf Coast faced heavy rainfall and potential flooding from Invest 93L, a system that moved across the Florida Peninsula and into the Gulf. Central Texas also experienced deadly floods during this period. Now, I've touched on the HARP. The HARP is just technology. The HARP weather controlling system technology is technology that the Lord gave Esau, all right, to do his thing. Okay, the Lord could do it directly himself, of course, but the Lord has given the technology on the left-hand side, pursuant to Isaiah 45 verse 7, to the heathen nations, so they can feel that pomp and that pride that they got some of a control even on the weather as well as the people. They're trying to get control of the people, and you know why and how, all right? Which is Revelation 13:16, which is the RF to the I to the D, all right? Here's a more detailed breakdown. Okay, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, North Carolina, South Carolina, okay, Central Texas, all right? Okay, so the Lord does not love everybody, man. And these are a multitude of ways to cripple the economy, displace people, to destroy America inside and out. Homes, businesses, all right? People's livelihood, all right? Okay? As well as the people, all right? All those crackers that flooded Jake towns, We always mention Rosewood, Black Wall Street, but there were thousands, okay? Thousands. Now, these Edomite towns and heathen towns are being flooded out completely. All right. Yeah, there's Jake amongst them too. Like, you might see the odd brown face, but 90% of them, when they show them on camera, are Edomites, you know? So the Lord is taking, as they say, deleting two birds with one stone. All right. Taking care of the heathen as well as two parts of Jake. All right. Pursuant to the book of Zechariah 13, where two parts of our people will be deleted. All right, because the Lord does not love everybody, man. Let's go to Second Esdras. So the Lord does not love everybody. You say, okay, why did the Lord create everybody? Because the Lord can do what the Lord wants to do. Yahweh Shemashah can do what he wants. That's the Most High. You're going to question the Most High? Oh, Most High, why is the sun yellow? Why is the sky blue? Why are the trees, parts of it, green and brown? You're going to ask the Lord, oh, why don't you make the trees purple? You're stupid people to even think that question. When you were a child, did you ask your dad, Dad, why are you making me eat my peas and my greens and my vegetables and stuff? Why are you making me finish my food off all my plate? Why? You ask that question. When your father's standing over you, you're like about 2 feet tall, and your dad's like 6'3", swole, and he's standing over you, looking down at you, scratching his beard, looking at you, and you're gonna question him then? With that powerful image in front of you, your earthly father. So how much, why would you even question the Most High? Why he created other people if he doesn't love everybody? The Lord does not love everybody. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me just read this first. All right. Second Esdras 6 verse 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Verse 55. So the Lord has made all creatures as well as the people he has chosen. Who did the Lord Yahweh Shemashah give his laws, statutes, and commandments to? Who did the Lord give all the moral laws, the dietary laws, and everything else entailed in that beautiful infrastructure of righteousness, which is Yahweh Shemashah's laws? Who did the Lord give that to? To the Israelites. All right, he didn't give it to the rest of you heathens. You heathens eat rat, cat, dog, mouses, pig, and all that shit. You eat it willingly. Oh, it's a delicacy. You heathen Ishmaelites eat, damn near kill poor camels and stuff, and cook their meat and dip it in honey and eat it. You heathens are disgusting. All right, and you call yourself Muslims and shit like that. And you heathens, man, you crackers on down, man. You disgusting people, man. All right. And after these Adam also whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. Verse 55. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, because thou madest the world for our sakes. Our sakes. Okay, the Lord made the world for Jake, the Israelite, planet of the Jakes. Okay. Verse 56, here's the kicker. As for the other people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing. They're nothing, but be like unto spittle. The other nations are nothing. They're zero. They're nada. They're blanquito. They're nothing. They're zero, right? They're spittle. They're spit. All right, After brushing your teeth and clearing your throat, brushing the top of your roof of your mouth and brushing your tongue right to the back where you're clearing your throat and brushing your teeth in the morning, that shit that you spit out, along with the toothpaste and that green goo, the phlegm, right? All right? That's what Esau is. The other nations are. Spittle, they're nothing. All right? You're not going to try and pick up the gob that you spit out of your mouth in the sink, are you? Right? You're going to wash that shit down the hole. The other nations are nothing. And hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. You're nothing, right? You're like a drop that falls from a vessel, that last drop out of a jug, that last drop, so like the last drop out of a, you know, out of a bottle of water. You're drinking water, it doesn't matter. It's not going to quench you, do nothing for you, you know? You're like the last drop, you just chuck the bottle away, in the bin. You're nothing, all right? Verse 57, and now, O Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai, behold, these heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. And rightfully so, but the Lord gave these heathens power over us, all right, and weakened us, in certain aspects, so these heathens could rule over us. Why? Because the heathen, right, is Yahweh Bashem Yashai's whooping stick to punish us. So we learn right from wrong. Okay, we learn good from evil. Okay, we learn these things, and now our punishment is up. But the ultimate answer, the ultimate thing I'm saying is, right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai Abaratizah, is that the Lord does not love everybody. Okay, the Lord does not love everybody. Okay, you have a chosen, you have an unchosen. All right. Now, the two parts of our people that are being deleted as well in these atrocities, as you would say it, right? They're going to come back in the kingdom. That's the one blessing our people have, that are part of the two parts that will die. Okay, they will come back in the kingdom, born as babies, having a perfect, lovely life with the Lord's statutes, commandments in them. They'll all be beautiful. The women will be gorgeous. The men will be comely. The children will be cute. They'll grow up and they'll be young forever. They'll have power. They'll have slaves, all that lovely stuff. You know what I mean? They're going to have everything, but they're going to have to be deleted on this side because they're just wicked. They're just wicked. They're a wicked generation. You see the YNs, you see how they behave, right? You see how they behave, right? Okay? The Lord is sick and tired of these people. All right? Let's go to Zechariah 13:8 since I said it. Actually, let me go to this one first. I killeth and make alive, King James Version. Now you can say the Lord is just the Lord, God is good all the time. Jake always says that God is good all the time. God is love. God is love. Yeah, Yahweh Bashem Yashai is love. But the Lord is a balanced power. Don't you have hate? So don't you have love and hate in your heart? You love some and you hate the other. All right? You love watching the lessons. You love listening to the scriptures. You love praying. But you hate getting up in the morning, going to the damn plantation. Right? Or you're going to say, oh, I love working for the white man. Or I love working for the heathen. All right? Didn't King David say, I hate them that hate thee, O Lord? Paraphrasing. Right? I hate them with a righteous hatred. Right? King David said that he hates what the Yahweh Bashem Yashai hates. All right? Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. All right? There is no, like the movie Final Destination. You go from this place to that place trying to avoid death. You can't get out of the Lord's hand. The Lord might think that, might put you in a little tailspin thinking that, oh yeah, let him try and get away from the death angel, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yashai laughing, in the heavens, having some great entertainment. But in the end, you're going to get got. You can't get out of the hands of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, man. You're talking about the power of heaven and earth, man. All right? That created every intricate thing, man. All right? That has a power to do anything. All right? This is the Lord's world, man, and beyond. All right? Man, you people are crazy, man, because, paraphrasing another scripture, because these heathens and 2/3 of Jakes, have said there is no Most High power. The fool hath said there is no God. You people thinking that are a bunch of clowns, man. Let's go to Zechariah 13:8, man, and 13:9. Zechariah 13:8 and 13:9, King James Version. Zechariah 13:8. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, saith the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. 2 parts is 66.6%. All right? And a lot of you 2/3 are going to be deleted in numerous amounts of ways, man. Like that's, like that saying 6 million ways to die, but the Lord's got many, many more more methods of deleting you, man. And many more ways. All right? Many, many, many more ways. Okay? And some of you are going to take the charagma, man, and be deleted that way. All right? So 2 parts of our people are going to die, and 1/3 will be left therein. All right, verse 9. And I will bring the third part, which is 33.3% or 33%. I will bring the third part through the fire and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. The 1/3 are the elect. Okay, and within that 1/3 is 144,000 men that are the ruling elect. All right, okay. They call this. That's the thing. Verse 9. They shall call on my name. Okay, ain't gonna be no fucking Jebus or the Christ or the Black Messiah. It's gonna be Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. All right, that's who the elect are gonna call upon. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is my power. All right, that's how, that's what I'm saying. The Lord does not love everybody, man. Okay, the Lord does not love everybody. All right, and a lot of people are getting their wake up call. Where is that, man? Yeah, I had a couple of videos open there, and I haven't even watched this. This came in my feed, and it looks like Ephraimite or Issacharite woman. She says she's from New York, but everybody on here, they, for some reason, I've read all the little what do you call it, messages that people have left, and not one cracker is saying blase blah. As a Middle Easterner, I'm glad the rest of the world is waking up. We've always known their true colors, no pun intended. they know that the so-called, these white men, so-called Edomite, so-called white people are the problem. I'm glad you're realizing this. YTS, Edomites, have caused most of the world's problems, and soon it will come to haunt them. You know what I mean? So-called European taught racism to everyone across the world, from Philippines, Asians to Latin Americans. I'm black, and nobody will defend me or take my side on anything, no matter if I'm innocent or not. See that? Where are the crackers on here? The crackers know. Okay, I'm white, and I clicked on this because I agree. Oh, shit. Now, that could be an Israelite foreigner, or it could be a willing concubine, all right, or just a cracker that's ready to be a slave, all right? There's a lot of Jake out there that look so-called white that are with, that understand the plight of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Why? Because they're Israelites, all right? Okay, and she's saying Edomite people are the real problem, American perspective. And you got a multitude of people from America. Ishmael's even saying it. Who was saying it? Let's see if I got any other nations here. You're brave for saying the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You know. It's a good thing, though. At least a bunch of women are waking up. I see a bunch of attractive women, for what I can tell. I ain't really clicked on their page yet. Yeah, a whole bunch of women are agreeing with this. A lot of Jake. Yeah. My family's Latino, so yeah, so-called blacks and Hispanics. So basically, Northern and Southern Kingdom are in one common platform. They hate, and they know that the so-called white man causes all the problems. And if you notice, all these problems are caused by them, right? And then they they always march about it. And I always think to myself, where all these honkies come from in London? Because London is pretty much brown now, right? There's still honkies about. But when it comes to marches and shit, it's always Edomites. Why? Because they cause the problems and they march about it. That as an Argentine that came from Europe, I'm asking myself why the Catholicism is still predominant religion here here if it was the instrument of colonization? Well, that's part of Psalms 83. More than likely a Jake. That's part of Psalms 83, trying to cut you off from being a nation. That's why Catholicism is part of a major religion in Latin America. You know, you worship white Jeebus. You know, you MFers give your daughters willingly to crackers when they come to Latin America. You know, crackers go over there and they go over there to get some box. You know, because they've got a fetish for Latin women because they are very attractive, very well built. You know, very feminine. You know, and when they get them in the bedroom and when they pay for it, they like that. You know, they like the outcome. So you know, I'm gonna leave it there. All right, but yeah, you know. So when's this from, by the way? 1 month ago. So this is fairly recent. So people are waking up, man. People are waking up to the people the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai hates. All right. Okay. So the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai does not love everybody, man. All right. I'm gonna leave it there. Okay. So the Lord is working, man. The Lord is working. Let's read that one more time. Psalm 119, verse 126. It is time for thee, Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, to work, for they have made void thy law. Anyway, all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, Bashem Rakak Badash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.